name's Steve Warriner. I'm the Exploration Manager for Estrella Resources. We're drilling here at the Carboyd project. Carboyd is some 80 kilometres north and northeast of Kalgoorlie-Boulder. Carboyd has a very long history, some 52 odd years. It was first discovered in 1968. It was mined by Western Mining in the early 70s and then essentially went through multiple ownerships since then. In 2017, Apollo Resources, run by Chris Dawes, who is Estrella Resources Managing Director, Chris managed to consolidate all of these tenements, and then that has been passed on to Estrella Resources. So the Carboyd complex has been heavily explored for 50 years. Why should we be any different to any other explorer? Well, nowadays we understand a lot more about intrusive nickel deposits, particularly what we like to call the basal contact. With nickel deposits, gravity is our friend, and nickel sulfides will always tend to settle on the lowest point. We have put a lot of science and understanding what the orientation of this intrusion was when the nickel was first laid down. Now that we understand that, we understand what we call the basal contact, the most prospective part of the Carboyd complex. We understand where that is. We've mapped it. We've mapped some 30 kilometres of this basal contact. We have a lot of exploring to do. To aid us in this, as I said, we've done a lot of mapping, but we also commenced an R&D project where we did seismic along this section of the basal contact where we're drilling now. And that is really to understand what the basal contact shape was, particularly at depth. One, if we're going to target it, we need to know where it is. And two, because what we talk about in geology as a trap site for nickel sulfides has very much to do with the shape of the basal contact and the change in shape of the basal contact. Estrella Resources commenced phase 1 drilling here in August last year. They drilled a couple of drill holes with Neil Hutchison. They located nickel sulfides on the basal contact, essentially commenced phase 2 drilling, which was to step back with a diamond rig and really understand what that looked like. That's where hole 30 came from. That was an absolute cracker of an intersection. Massive sulfides on the basal contact, wonderful. Phase 2 then commenced to expand on that initial discovery. What we found in that expansion, doing downhole at EM, what we call electromagnetic studies, and drilling out, stepping out further, was that just because we didn't have an electromagnetic signal indicating there were sulfides there, didn't mean that we didn't actually intersect nickel sulfides on that basal contact. So we realised there's a lot more that we needed to understand about the project. We then commenced phase 3, and phase 3 was specifically about coming back into that discovery hole and drilling around this area to get a very detailed look at what the textures of the sulfides, what the textures of the rock, and the flow dynamics are telling us about where we might locate nickel sulfides. Why are they here at T5, and where could they be in the future? Flow dynamics are exceptionally important, particularly in intrusive nickel deposits, to understanding where the nickel sulfides would be deposited and where we're going to find more of them, because that's the key. We want to find more. We also suspect that the nickel sulfides that we found on the basal contact here at T5 are in some way linked at depth to the nickel sulfides that were mined at the Carboyd mine, sub 1 kilometre south of us. The depositional environment is very different for the two. Carboyd is come up from depth as a breccia sulfide. T5 sulfides are found on the basal contact, and essentially we can draw a line between those two and explore at depth using our seismic, using 50 years of history of geophysical exploration in this area to target those with some deep drilling. Phase 3 is really about understanding what that link might be at depth. Another aspect of phase 3 drilling is step out away from where we're drilling with these two rigs here and to understand what the structural overprint, the post-depositional structure has done to the location of the ore body. From the understanding that we obtained from the phase 3 drilling, combined with our seismic survey, we should be able to get a really good handle on our planning efforts for phase 4. And phase 4 is where we start to step away. At T5 here, we still have another 3.5 kilometres of this peroxenite basal contact to test behind us. Phase 4 will then start to step away, work up 3.5 kilometres behind us, work south back towards the Carboyd mine, another 1.2 kilometres, and beyond that. Phase 5 after that, which will occur probably earlier next year, will be governed by a research collaboration project that we're going to start doing with the CSIRO, where we're going to look at the surface geochemistry, particularly with the element traces that vector us in towards nickel mineralisation that might be near surface. When Estrella Resources first started drilling back in August last year, the guys were living out of tents. I joined the company in January this year and we've just put in a new camp. Camp houses 16 people. At the moment there's 18, a couple of caravans. We're at capacity and it's really been beneficial to our exploration push here. It can get really cold in winter like it is today, really hot in summer, and for us to retain people in this environment, we really need to provide some sort of facilities for them. Apart from the camp, Estrella Resources is put in a fully functioning core yard, offices, fuel bay. We're really here for the long haul. As an exploration geologist with 20 years of nickel experience, I'm really excited about this project. Carboid is old, it's a very old intrusion and it has a lot of potential. The size of Carboid is around 180 square kilometres. We've got 30 kilometres of base of contact which hasn't been explored. When I say that, there's about 5 kilometres of base of contact that has been explored under 30 metres depth. The rest of it is completely open. We're really excited times to be here. I feel that the Carboid Nickel project has a really bright future.